Can you actually, there's in one of your blog posts, the Just Talk to It, the No BS Way of Agentic Engineering, you have this graphic, the curve of agentic programming. On the x-axis is time, on the y-axis is complexity. There's the please fix this, where you prompt a short prompt on the left, and in the middle there's super complicated 8 agents, complex orchestration with multi-checkouts, chaining agents together, custom sub-agent workflows, library of 18 different slash commands, large full stack features. You're super organized, you're super complicated, sophisticated software engineer, you got everything organized. And then the elite level is over time you arrive at the Zen place of, once again, short prompts. Hey, look at these files and then do these changes.
I actually call it the agentic trap. I saw this in a lot of people that have their first touch point and maybe start vibe coding. I actually think vibe coding is a slur.
You prefer agentic engineering?
Yeah, I always tell people I do agentic engineering, and then maybe after 3 a.m. I switch to vibe coding, and then I have regrets on the next day.
Yeah. A walk of shame.
You just have to clean up and like fix your shit.
We've all been there.
So people start trying out those tools, the builder type, get really excited, and then you have to play with it, right? It's the same way as you have to play with a guitar before you can make good music. It's not, oh, I touch it once and it just flows off. It's a skill that you have to learn like any other skill. And I see a lot of people that are not as positive. They don't have such a positive mindset towards their tech. They tried once. It's like, you sit me on a piano, I played once and it doesn't sound good, and I say the piano shit. That's sometimes the impression I get, because it needs a different level of thinking. You have to learn the language of the agent a little bit, understand where they are good and where they need help. You have to almost consider how Codex or Claude sees your code base. Like, they start a new session and they know nothing about your project. And your project might have hundreds, thousands of lines of code. So you gotta help those agents a little bit and keep in mind the limitations, that context size is an issue, to like guide them a little bit as to where they should look. And that often does not require a whole lot of work, but it's helpful to think a little bit about their perspective. As weird as it sounds, it's not alive or anything, right? But they always start fresh. I have the system understanding, so with a few pointers I can immediately say, hey, I want to like make a change there, you need to consider this, this, and this, and then they will find and look at it, and then their view of the project is never full, because the full thing does not fit in. So you have to guide them a little bit where to look, and also how they should approach the problem. There's like little things that sometimes help, like take your time. That sounds stupid, and in 5.3,
Codex 5.3,
that was partially addressed. But those also Opus, sometimes they are trained with being aware of the context window, and the closer it gets, the more they freak out. Literally, like sometimes you see the real raw thinking stream. What you see, for example, in Codex is post-processed. Sometimes the actual raw thinking stream leaks in, and it sounds like something like from the Borg, like run to shell, must comply, but time. And then they like that comes up a lot, especially so. Yeah. And that's a non-obvious thing that you just would never think of unless you actually just spend time working with those things and getting a feeling what works, what doesn't work. Like just as I write code and I get into the flow, and when my architecture is not right, I feel friction. Well, I get the same if I prompt and something takes too long. Maybe, okay, where's the mistake? Do I have a mistake in my thinking? Is there like a misunderstanding in the architecture? like if something takes longer than it should, you can just always like stop and like just press escape. Where are the problems?
Maybe you did not sufficiently empathize with the perspective of the agent. In that sense, you didn't provide enough information, and because of that, it's thinking way too long.
Yeah, it just tries to force a feature in that your current architecture makes really hard. Like, you need to approach this more like a conversation. For example, my favorite thing, when I review a pull request, and we're getting a lot of pull requests, I first is review this PR. It got me the review. My first question is, do you understand the intent of the PR? I don't even care about the implementation. In almost all PRs person has a problem, person tries to solve the problem, person sends PR. I mean, there's like cleanup stuff and other stuff, but like 99% is like this way, right? They either want to fix a bug, add a feature, usually one of those two. And then codecs will be like, yeah, it's quite clear, person tried this and this. Is this the most optimal way to do it? No. In most cases, it's like a not really. And then I start like, okay, what would be a better way? Have you looked into this part? And then most likely codecs didn't yet because his context size is empty, right? So you point them into parts where you have the system understanding that it didn't see yet. And it's like, oh yeah, like we also need to consider this and this. And then like we have a discussion of how would the optimal way to solve this look like? And then you can still go farther and say, could we make that even better if we did a larger refactor? Yeah, we could totally do this and this or this and this. And then I consider, okay, is this worth the refactor or should we like keep that for later? Many times I just do the refactor because refactors are cheap now. Even though you might break some other PRs, nothing really matters anymore. Codecs, like those modern agents, will just figure things out. They might just take a minute longer. But you have to approach it like a discussion with a very capable engineer who's generally comes up with good solutions, sometimes needs a little help.